Oh yeah, 5-star LSU. I said they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going off to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This is the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey.
T.A. We live. We got an in-person show today, Zach. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's kind of rare.
Yeah.
But it's working.
when we're able to pull it off, it's always good to do the show together. Welcome to episode 51. If you missed it, last episode, 50th episode of Tigers Avenue, Zach put together this little cool video to run of all of our highlights, and it was a blast. So thank you to everyone who's been supporting us. But look, here we are at 51.
Moving on up in the world.
That's right. Moving on up. Hopefully we'll have 50 more episodes for you, 100 episodes. So, Zach, this week we've been busy. You can't tell I'm a little red.
You a little sunburned?
Just a wee bit.
My son got noticed. I did.
Crazy. I mean, this whole week we've been at a youth camp in Smithville, Arkansas, population 78.
Middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. I spent the entire week outside with a bunch of teenagers playing games and whatnot, and didn't get sunburnt the whole week, but I got sunburnt today when I went swimming. So spent like 3, 4, 5 days out in the sun. Didn't get it, but I got it today. And I mean, y'all can probably tell. I'm looking at the cameras here. I'm looking a little peach. Just a wee bit. Just a wee bit.
I wouldn't say a wee bit. That's
A good bit. Good bit. But it is what it is. We've had a blast this week, and that's why we're doing our show today, because can't finish yesterday. And to be completely honest, plumb exhausted.
We went to bed early.
Yeah.
I was ready to go to bed early.
Yeah. When you're sleeping in these little bunk beds with a room full of teenagers and they stink and it ain't your bed, and sometimes you just don't get the best sleep, and you spend 4 nights there and you're quite exhausted. So this morning I didn't wake up till 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
10 o'clock. I woke up.
We slept in too.
Yeah, so
Went to bed early. I mean, I think I slept for like 12 hours.
It was great. I mean, it was great. It was one of the best nights of sleep I've had in a while. But we're here and we're ready to do the show. We've kind of had to keep up and catch up with all things LSU. Everything that's been happening lately. So
it was crazy because
yeah,
where we're at, there's like no internet whatsoever. There's like
no service.
one thing of Wi-Fi in the cafeteria, and like I had to go in there every day and keep up and try to make edits because so much was going on while we were gone. I was like, of course, LSU chooses this week to have so much happen, but it was awesome.
Yep. Well, look, Zach. I mean, it looks like some people are firing in already. Why don't you throw a few up there and we'll say some hellos.
Bo Landry said, at least we don't have to worry about Zach's internet freezing. True. Hey, if you haven't noticed, like I've been good on the internet. We finally fixed Sally Boy, sending the fire emojis. Appreciate you joining us, Sally Boy. BK Takeover, what's up, everyone? Zach needs a tan. He almost glows in the dark like a glow.
Good grief.
That's interesting. But I agree. And I do need a tan. Maybe I need to swim like you did today, Reagan. Just put a little bit of sunblock.
Not very much tan. Not very much tan going
on. Tiger Den Sports, do appreciate them. I got to talk with him briefly the other day. Hopefully make some connections with him. Appreciate you joining us, man. For our viewers who have not yet, go on to Twitter, follow Tiger Den Sports. They're just now getting going. We have just been getting rolling really these last few months. Started in November, so of course, go and support Tiger Den Sports. Al Landry said, "Hey, my guys, just tuning in. Been at Strawberry Pageant, baby girl won Miss Teen. Hey,
congratulations,
proud dad, I'm sure.
Yes,
proud dad, I'm sure.
Congratulations to your daughter, Al. Well, Zach, I guess we better get into it. First thing here we need to discuss is the NBA draft, and as we all know, Tari Eason got an invite to the green room with the NBA, and typically when you get an invite to the green room, you know you're getting picked, and look, after the season Tari Eason had, no surprise. I mean, he was sixth man of the year, easily could have started on any team in the SEC. I mean, just an absolute versatile player, handsy on defense, great guy who can go get you a bucket, and he can also shoot on the outside. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the size for the NBA, and the Houston Rockets pick him at the 17th pick. The Houston Rockets loaded up.
They did.
I mean, I know the Grizzlies technically had that pick with Ty Washington, but he's at the Rockets, and Jabari Smith being the third pick. So, I mean, Zach, how do you rate the Rockets draft there?
I mean, A. Maybe not A+, but they definitely got an A. I mean, to pick up Jabari Smith, who is arguably the best player in the draft, arguably, on top of Tari Eason and Ty Washington. Yeah, I say they did pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in my opinion, I think Jabari Smith was the best player in the draft. I don't understand. I mean, maybe I just haven't watched him enough, but I just don't understand the big hype around Chet Holmgren, or Holmgren, whatever you say his name is, Gonzaga. He was the #1 player in high school, and this year, you'll watch Gonzaga, and I just mean like, nothing really impressed me about him. I don't know if it's just his size or his skill set or what it is, but I don't know. I just think he's a little bit overhyped. And Paolo Banchero out of Duke, #1 overall to the Magic. And I mean, I can kind of understand that one a little bit, but I still think Jabari would have had an edge over him. I mean, he just had an incredible year. But look, guys, the New Orleans Pelicans get Dyson Daniels out of the G League, which is kind of a new thing these past 2 years with the the NBA draft. That players can now go join the G League out of high school and then get drafted, kind of like Jalen Green, I think, was the first guy who did that, who is a Rocket as well. So the Rockets look to be, the team who's going to be trying to build like a young team these next few years because, boy, they've been down a little bit. So hopefully guys like Tari Eason can can help them out. Which I mean, we hope all the best for Tari Eason. You know, we enjoyed watching him so much this year, and I mean,
If it's
all
not
the
for
best to
him,
him.
you,
So
I mean, if it's not for him, you probably don't win a lot of the games that they won.
right. I mean, for sure.
When you needed a guy to step up and be the scorer after Ace went down,
Yep.
you know, you had Darius there at the beginning, but really throughout the rest of the season,
Yep.
it was Tari's.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Atari was your guy this year, and at times, you know, we were like, why doesn't he start? But you know, Will Wade, the former coach, had that formula, and it worked. Uh, it worked with him coming off the bench. You know, if you get an early lead with the guys who were in the starting five, and you play for about 4 or 5 minutes or so, and you got a 6 point lead, and you bring Tari Eason fresh off the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great, and so I'm really looking forward to see what he can do. He definitely built his draft stock this year. I mean, we were talking about a guy who was at Cincinnati, more than 8 points a game, and was projected to be drafted anywhere, and it comes to LSU, and he's a top 20 pick. I mean, just an incredible year from him. So all the best to him and his future, Tari Eason. We will be definitely watching. I would have loved to see him go to the New Orleans Pelicans or let's say the Grizzlies. But I mean, he was there. I mean, he was there at the 8th pick, but it is what it is. But another news with the NBA draft, that he was the only one selected for the Tigers, but 4-year senior Darius Days, he gets picked up for with a roster agreement for the Spurs summer league team, and Sharif. Sorry, I about threw a blank there. Sharif O'Neal got a roster agreement to be on the summer league for the Lakers as well. Zach, do you have any? I mean, honestly, I don't know much about the summer league. I know it's another chance for them to try to prove themselves. I mean, I like Sharif a lot. I think this is a little premature. I mean, just in my opinion, I want the best for him, and I want him to be successful. But I think it's a little premature. I mean, what's your thoughts on
I agree. I thought that he would transfer
Yeah.
and go to another school
Yeah.
and have another year, try and go somewhere that he can be a starter and get a lot of valuable minutes, not have to worry about injury, and then go from there. But he gets the deal done with the Lakers, so I mean you can only hope the best for him and Darius. They get an opportunity. It's not being selected. It's not anything huge, but they both get an opportunity to at least compete
right?
and take that next step up in their game and trying to impress
Right. And so,
teams.
so with Darius Days, I mean, he could have played another year if he wanted to, and I would have loved to. I mean, obviously, we would have loved to see him play another year. We love Darius Days, but I mean, I think Darius Days is a guy who could eventually work himself into a two-way contract, kind of like what Javonte Smart has done in recent years. Now, Trendon Watford has worked himself into like a contract. I mean, he was a on the roster for the Trailblazers for most of the season, and so I'm really happy for him. But I project Darius being eventually maybe a two-way contract guy, and then I would perceive, and now I hope the best for him. Obviously, I want him to get on a team and I mean be an all-star. I mean that's what we all hope, but that's just not reality, right?
Yeah.
Darius is definitely skilled. We know he can shoot the outside. He can bang around in the paint. Obviously, he's a big rebounder. He was, that was one of the biggest things for LSU in his time there. He could get you a board. And at times he also played LSU's five, like the year before when we were just a smaller team. He played LSU's five a lot. So, but I eventually see Darius getting a two-way contract or maybe playing overseas. I mean, that's just where I see him eventually going. But hopefully this coming summer he has a fantastic time. I mean, I know that in the what's it that camp, the NBA camp combine camp or whatever that they got invited to. I mean, he had a great showing, and I think that kind of pushed him into this, agreement with the Spurs to get on the summer league. But I hope he goes up there, and I hope he balls out, and I hope he lands a contract before the next season.
Well, I think Darius has probably a better shot than Sharif right now, definitely, because Darius can play inside and out.
Yes.
We already know about the outside shot, but also we saw at times during the season where he would solidify himself down low and have a great game in the paint.
For sure.
So he can play inside and out. He's versatile, and he can defend. At one point, I think he was in the top 10 defenders in the country during the regular season. So, I mean, Darius Day is going to have a shot.
Yeah, absolutely, and I hope he does. I sure hope he does. But I mean, we'll continue to keep an eye on that and keep y'all updated. But we're excited for those Tigers who have gotten opportunities, and we're really excited for Tari Eason, who was a top 20 pick. I mean, that was awesome to see. I mean, there's the product of LSU basketball on display again, right? And I mean, we're pumped for this next season with the new coach and this new found roster that McMahon has put together, and hopefully next year we can put another guy in the draft. Yeah. So, and I mean, Matt McMahon has done that, so we're looking forward to that.
I mean, you got KJ Williams, you got Ace Wolf. I mean, obviously those two are the biggest names on the LSU roster that could be selected.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think KJ Williams will be best in the waters this year, and we've talked a little bit about that. But all the best to you Tigers who have moved on, and all you guys. We want the best for y'all. But speaking of basketball, Zach.
Huge.
Speaking of basketball, Kim Mulkey. I'm telling y'all, my hot take was that the next national championship would come from Kim Mulkey. And boy, oh boy,
I don't think I disagree.
She is encouraging my hot take more and more. I feel like she is making me feel really safe in my hot take in that. Michaela Williams, out of Louisiana, the number one prospect in the nation, commits to the Tigers. And I mean, they are stacked. And then this is just another huge addition, Zach. I mean, where at? I mean, on the rankings of biggest recruits that women basketball has got, this is up there. Oh, yeah. I mean, number one player in the country. This is the biggest since Simone. I mean, I don't know. I haven't kept up with rankings of the women's basketball in quite some time because I'm not talking bad about anybody, but the program was lackluster, for a while, so you ain't been keeping up with it. But now it's holy smokes, you got I'm gonna do it like Daniel told us, Flo J. You got people like Flo J coming in, and she's put this incredible transfer roster together, and now she's made another addition in the number one player in the nation. I mean, Zach, Kim Mulkey's doing what Kim Mulkey came to do.
Well, I mean, she is a prolific head coach, and she is proving that on this. I mean, she came from Baylor, and no respect to Baylor, but LSU has the potential to be a greater monster than Baylor does, just resource-wise. Absolutely. And she is using every resource that she can, and she is making the most of it. And I think I have to agree with you. I think that it's very likely that the women's basketball team may be the next LSU sports team to win a national championship. If I had to go with a different route, it'd probably be baseball.
Yep.
But man, it raises the expectations for next year because you didn't really have high expectations coming into this past season, and then they did what they did and surprised a lot of people.
For sure.
But now you have that from this past season. You have what she's done recruiting wise, and on the front end in the transfer portal. And I think people are going to expect a lot. And that is going to be probably the biggest hurdle that she is going to have to overcome this next season is meeting the expectations now that they are there.
Yeah.
Because she is going to have them next year. I mean, I think say, Final Four. Now it's Final Four or bust.
Yeah.
Now it's Sweet 16 or bust. And those are really high expectations coming into next season for Kim Mulkey. So we'll see how she handles all.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want out of an LSU program, any LSU program, athletic program. You want high expectations. Football every year has high expectations. Baseball every year has high expectations, right? Now our expectations have been raised with the men's program, and now in this year with the recruiting that we've done, the women's are going to have high expectations. That's what I mean. That's what Scott Woodward came to do is make LSU a premier athletic program, one of the top athletic programs in the country, and high expectations, I think, is what everybody wants out of every program.
Yeah.
And that's what Kim Mulkey expects to have out of her program. She demands a lot. She demands to be at the top level, and she's doing that in every facet. And I am more excited about women's basketball than I have ever been in my life.
Me too.
Ever been in my life.
I have to agree.
I mean, it is an exciting time to be a Tiger. I mean, with recent news, with recent hires, good grief. The past year, I feel like at LSU has been like such a roller coaster. I mean, I feel like we're flying into high times with the LSU athletic program, and that's what we expected from Scott Woodward.
Well, Justin brings up a good question. He says, has there ever been a time when expectations are this high in baseball, both basketball programs, gymnastics, and football simultaneously?
No, I don't think there ever has been. I don't think there has been. I mean, for a long time there, after oh goodness, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Not Dale Brown, the coach. I'm drawing a blank.
Trent Johnson?
Before him.
Oh, I don't know.
He's one of the radio.
Trent Johnson.
He does one of the radio. Is it John Brady?
John Brady.
I don't know. I don't think it's Brady, but I know it's John something.
I'll send it in
Anyways,
the
I'm
comments.
drawing a blank on his name.
We're kind of young.
With Trent Johnson and Johnny Jones, you know, those few years, the football expectation has remained the same. The baseball expectation remained the same. But like the women's basketball, the men's basketball kind of was wavered. It is Brady.
It is Brady.
Okay, John Brady. Yes. Ever since he left, was no longer with the program, the expectations dipped with men's basketball. And Will Wade was brought in, and I mean, we know how that ended. It ended in, him being fired. Him being him being in flames. But he brought. I mean, all credit to him. He brought the program back to life. He did. Now do we want to talk about how he did that? But regardless of how he went about his recruits, he brought energy to the program. He brought a newfound love for the program with the fans. I mean, re-energized it, and expectations were raised when Will Wade was here. And now we have those expectations for Matt McMahon, right? We know what he did at Murray State. We know, he could recruit and bring guys. And now he's got this roster together. Expectations are high for Brian Kelly. Jay Johnson is doing what he's doing. Expectations are high for him.
That's coming up next.
That's up next. We'll get to that. Expectations are high. Kim Mulkey is here, 3-time national champion. Expectations are very high. Like, LSU's athletic program is about to be in a for the next, I don't know, Zach, it could be like 10 years. 5 to 10 years. LSU's athletic program could be at the expectation and the prowess of our program could be at an all-time high. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Brian, hashtag BK Takeover said,
yeah. Early 2000s, yeah. Well, I mean, I can't remember when Big Baby took us to the Final Four.
That was
when was that?
2006.
2006.
2005.
So baseball expectations were still there too.
Yeah.
For during that time, because
football.
And football, of course. But now you're thinking you're adding gymnastics and women's basketball on top of that. I mean, you're having national championship expectations all over the place, and that's what we want of those. That's absolutely what we want. So let's move forward and talk about those expectations, Zach, real quick. Um, Jay Johnson, we said last episode that it may be a minute. It may be a minute. Sorry, y'all. I've got some sun, and I'm uncomfortable sitting here a little bit. The sun is hurting. I got some sunburn a little going, and I'm not too comfortable. But bear with me. Jay Johnson was going to hit the portal for several days, and he was going to attack. Boy, oh boy, has he attacked it. I mean, holy smokes. From out of nowhere, Randy Orton RKO one day. Tommy Tanks, Tommy White from NC State, probably the most prolific freshman this year, breaks the NCAA record for home runs, 27 home runs for a freshman. And then you land one of the biggest arms in the portal, Christian Little from Vandy. What a day for Jay Johnson. And he is not done. I think we ain't done yet. I love that. I mean, I love that. Zach, I mean, holy cow. We're expecting to lose guys like Jacob Berry, K. Doty, and you're losing Tyler McManus. You're losing a lot of offense right there. A lot of home runs. Potentially like Joe Bear. You may lose him too. You got guys entering the portal to go get him to add 27 home runs to your lineup. That was huge. And to not only add offense, to go get a guy like Christian Little. Are you kidding me? And Thatcher Hurd is still out there? I mean, you've already landed Dylan T-Break, Dylan T-Break, however you want to say it. You added Christian Little. You got a guy on your roster from Ty Floyd who's probably going to be a week in rotation type of guy. John Coleman's going to get healthy, and you'll have a southpaw out of him. And then if you could go land like Thatcher Hurd, I mean, you got 4 or 5 starters, 5 guys that compete for the weekend rotation right there. So if you pair that offense then, like an offense with Trey Morgan, an offense with Dylan Cruz, an offense with Josh Pearson, and an offense with Tommy White, 27 home runs, with a pitching staff that has 5 starters that can go at length, that is high expectation. Yeah, that is Omaha expectations. And here's the other issue, that our issue was fielding. And you went and got a guy out of Jack Pineda.
We're going to ask him here in a minute.
We will have to ask him. If you're here to hear from Jack, next segment will be a segment with Jack from Baylor, the shortstop, had a .966 fielding percentage, over 300 batting average, 7 home runs. You're adding guys in the portal that can come in and potentially clean up your fielding situation as well. Now, I will say, it has been said that Jordan Thompson dealt with an injury. Zach, do you know any more on that?
Yeah, I heard in Twitter Spaces that he had been dealing with a knee injury the whole season that not a lot of people knew about. That came out later,
Okay.
And so it makes sense that that he, with the problems they had fielding wise, and Blake had even said that they moved him to second base not because of the errors, but because of pain tolerance.
Gotcha.
Just because he was trying to deal with pain. And so they put him over on second base to try and help him deal with it.
Yeah. So maybe that, affected them him this whole season, and maybe, just maybe, he gets healthy and he becomes the Jordan Thompson we knew from his freshman year. The lineup's starting to build. And again, it sounds like Jay Johnson is not that.
No.
I mean, we've heard a few names, and I'm not going to list any names here because, I mean, I want that to come out as it comes out, and I don't want to, give false hope on any one player.
Well, BK Takeover Ryan says possibly Ostrander and Hall. Al said, are we crossing fingers for Tanner to come to Baton Rouge? Ryan also said the shortstop will be coming in to get Josh Day.
We've already mentioned Josh Day. That would be another huge addition. I mean, a guy who batted over 300 this year and only committed, if I remember correctly, 6 errors these times. And so, I mean, that would be huge. Great defensively. And again, I want to point out Zane Denton, Zach. I did not say this last time. I mentioned him. 4 errors on the whole season. 4 errors.
That's pretty wild.
That's some really good fielding. And I know his bat didn't follow this second year at Alabama, but I mean, his first year at Alabama, he finished, batting over 300, and his defense got him all SEC defense his first year, and he got all SEC defense his second year. And at one point in the season, he did have a 321 batting average. So, I mean, that's a guy there. I don't think we go get Zane Denton. Honestly, I haven't heard any inclination about Zane Denton. But that's just a guy I think is an elite defender. And if you want to go clean up some defense and there's potential in his bat, that's a guy you could go get too. So there's options. And a guy like Zane Denton, I feel like, would heavily consider coming to LSU, right?
Yeah.
To stay in the SEC, to stay at an SEC West program, rather than maybe stepping down from Alabama, right? Rather stepping up into a team like LSU. But, guys, from y'all's comments, if you get Ostrander and Tanner Hall comes, oh my gosh.
We'll see.
I mean, we understand the portal is what he's taking care of first, right? He's recruiting. He's building his roster back. And then we'll get into that. But if we hire Ostrander,
I mean, you saw what Southern Miss did with their pitching in the regional. They had elite pitching. And if you go, I mean, that's because of Ostrander. A lot of that's because of Ostrander, because of – and he's been there for how many years, Reagan?
5 seasons.
5 seasons.
And he's been 2 at Louisiana Tech.
He's an elite pitching coach.
Yeah.
I know they're also looking at the pitching coach at Texas. So, we'll see. But Jay Johnson made it very clear that he was going to hit the portal first, and he did this past week.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolute shocker. I mean, everybody thought that Tommy White was headed back to Florida. I mean, he came out of IMG, Florida guy. IMG obviously is there in Florida. Everybody thought he was going to go back home, potential like Florida State. But, I mean, Florida State's going through a coaching change. Florida State's hiring Link Jarrett out of Notre Dame. And I think the other team they said that I heard was mentioned was Miami. And Jay Johnson goes and gets him on a visit, and the next day Tommy White announces he's a Tiger. I mean, relentless recruiting, right? And not only is he said he was going to attack the portal, like he was doing it himself. Like this is not him and some other, guys he's got involved with the staff. Like this is him, Jay Johnson, making the phone calls, getting it done. And if this is what Jay Johnson does on the regular, I mean, you think about it, Zach. I mean, I know he coached Jacob Berry, but last year he went and got guys like Jacob Berry out of the portal. He got Eric Raiselman out of the portal, right? I mean, top names in the portal. And then here you said who now?
Tyler McManus.
Tyler McManus, yes. I mean, big-time guys out of the portal, like Tommy White and Christian Little are 2 of the biggest names in the portal. If not, I think Tommy White is like one of the biggest in the portal. I mean, if this is a regular thing, and I mean, we have a massively stacked roster. I meant recruiting class coming in. Like, if this is his continual recruiting, like, we're going to land a national championship sooner than later.
Yeah.
Like, you keep bringing talent in like this is going to be a very interesting, tenure that Jay Johnson's going to put together.
He wants them all. He wants them
no,
all.
No question.
He's made that very clear.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the reality. I think, obviously, you want to win. You want to win the College World Series every year, right? But that's not reality, right? But next year is Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan's last season. Like, Trey Morgan and Dylan Cruz are gone after next year.
Yeah.
So you add a few pieces like Tommy White, get a few pitchers that can be elite starting pitchers, hire a great pitching coach, Christian Ostrander, and you go win a national championship and you send Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan out champions, right? And then the next year, which I hate to say rebuilding, because I feel like if he's doing this year, he can do it again next year.
For sure.
But, you think next year is a year like you need to go get one. You need to make a big push to go get a championship this year, being it's their last year.
And I think we're seeing that push right now with what he's doing in the portal.
Correct. All right, Zach. I think we need to hit a few comments, and we will we'll hit a quick break, and then we will bring Jack in. So y'all, we're gonna ask Jack a few questions. We're gonna do some Tell Me TA and ask. You can do some Ask Jack as well, right, Zach?
Yep.
Throw that in there. We're gonna ask him some questions. Y'all ask him some questions. We're looking forward to having him in. It's going to be a blast. But let's hit some of y'all's comments. Zach, what you got?
So Al said Tanks had 7 home runs in the first 6 games this season. Justin said, AD, I see LSU becoming the Bama of the baseball portal.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hashtag BK Takeover Ryan mentioned Ostrander and Hall possibly coming over. So, and Al said it will be called Reload, not Rebuild.
Correct. And that's my thing is you got Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan going out after this season. You definitely don't say rebuild.
Yeah.
It's going to be a reload.
Tiger Den Sports, it says a lot about Jay Johnson recruiting. He's getting transfer commitments without a pitching coach or an assistant. I think that has probably gone unnoticed a little bit. Jay Johnson is getting these guys, and he doesn't have key assistant coaches with him right now.
Wow. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That adds a whole nother level to it.
So pretty massive. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. And then right after this break, we'll do a quick interview with Jack.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. 5-Star Hero. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
All right, guys. Oh.
Gotta get in there.
We're going to have to scoot in a little bit here. What's up, Jack? What's up, man? Good to have you
How's it going? Hey,
man.
thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. We're doing great. A little sunburnt, but it's all good. Looking forward to this interview, man. We really appreciate you joining in and willing to answer our questions. And our fans are looking forward to asking you questions as well. You're a pretty guy here recently, a pretty popular guy here recently, Jack. You got some interviews and stuff. What's that been like?
It's been really cool. It's part of the reason you come to LSU, or why I came to LSU, was just kind of play in front of the fans that just love and love their Tigers, and the environment at Alec Box is just something that I heard is unmatched, and I can't wait to experience it.
Oh man, let me tell you, back in 2017, the year LSU made it to the finals, We went and we caught a few games in the box, and I'm telling you, man, it's unmatched. It is no comparison. LSU fans love their sports, and I can't wait to for you personally to get to experience that. So Jack, coming out of Baylor this past season, real quick though, for an ignorant redneck, is it Pineda? Pineda?
Pineda.
Pineda. Okay. Jack
Sir.
Pineda. Okay. Thank you. Oh, I mean, we were talking about that earlier, and I was like, I don't want to say it like some idiot and then look dumb. So I was like, I'll just ask him. But
No, you're
Pineda.
good.
Good deal.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. So you actually got to play LSU this year, and y'all got the best of us. So what was that like? I mean, out in Houston, playing at Minute Maid and at the Astros Stadium. How was this past season for you, for Baylor, and now this transition into LSU?
Yeah, I think that well, first off, Houston was just incredible in playing against LSU, and all three teams there were really good, and it definitely made us better. But we kind of underperformed this year at Baylor, and expectations just weren't met, and so that was something that coming to LSU, I wanted to go somewhere where the expectations were high, and kind of Omaha was the standard, and that's certainly what LSU is.
You got a question?
Well, I was going to say, Jack, I know you've been in several interviews, so I'm sure you've answered this question before. But for our listeners, when did that decision to say, hey, I think I'm going to transfer, and of course, it being ultimately LSU?
Yeah. Well, originally at Baylor, we had a coaching change, and so there was a little bit of uncertainty about who was going to get the job, and I kind of put my
Gotcha.
name in the portal to have some options, and then Coach Johnson actually recruited me at a junior college a little bit, so he was the first one to call me and reach out, and we just developed a pretty good relationship, and I
Yeah.
got a good feel for him and the program and the team and where they were headed, and by the time I committed, it was just something that I couldn't wait to be a part of.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're here, man. We really are. So we've heard and seen that you've had a connection with a previous Tiger, a legend who actually plays for the Houston Astros, Alex Bregman. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, did that have any influence on the decision to be a Tiger? I mean, have you talked to Alex about it any or?
Yeah, not so much during the recruiting process, but the love that I saw him get when he played there, and just how much fun he had, and how just the whole LSU community embraced him. That
Yeah.
I remember watching that growing up, and that certainly had an influence on it. And he earned every single thing that he got there, and it's something that I'm just really looking forward to.
Obviously, his defense was phenomenal at LSU. I'm sure you remember the 360 play that everyone does. Coming into LSU, obviously, we know that there were the struggles there during the season with defense. Was that one of the biggest things that Jay Johnson talked to you about? Was the defensive side of your game?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely wanted me to come in and just kind of continue that defense that I've had, and I think it was something that certainly put me on his radar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. My question is, we saw obviously you had a visit with I mean, you came to Baton Rouge and had a visit and everything, and that's part of the recruitment process. Did that visit kind of sell you? Well, I mean, were you able to go and see some things, and is that what sold you, or were you already sold coming in and that just solidified even more? How was your visit?
yeah, I will say there was a school that came in late that kind of made the decision a little bit harder, but LSU was
Okay.
kind of on the forefront for pretty much the entire recruiting process. And then when I came to Baton Rouge and saw everything, it just fell in love, and I knew it was the right place.
Absolutely. Hey guys, make sure you're throwing in your questions there. If you have any questions for Jack, please
throw them in there. I don't know if I see any quite yet.
We do have one from Tiger Den Sports.
Okay,
Jack,
go ahead.
Jack, obviously, you played shortstop at Baylor. Tiger Den Sports wants to know, is this your best position, or do you have another favorite position that you like to play?
Yeah. I prefer shortstop. I think that from a results standpoint or just comfort, I think I get the best read on hops defensively when I play short. But with that being said, I'm not uncomfortable at other places on the infield. So
Awesome.
Gotcha.
So, Jack, since you've now made your commitment and it's been a little while, have you been able to talk to any of the current players? Have you been able to make connections with them or any of the coaches?
well, it's just Coach Johnson right now, but
Just Johnson right now.
A couple guys have reached out, and it's been good to kind of hear from them. And so I'm just looking forward to it, and I think that the goal throughout the team, which I really like and appreciate, is that everyone's kind of got their mind on Omaha, and that's exactly what I wanted. So it just, each day I just get more and more excited.
How much hype is building for just yourself now that I mean, LSU yesterday added Tommy Tanks, and added Christian Little, and of course, there'll be more coming as Jay Johnson is hitting the portal hard. How much excitement is growing within you that now that you've found out some other guys that are coming along, and knowing that there will be more as well?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I mean, you just look at it and you see it on paper and see what those guys did, and then kind of throwing myself in that mix too. It's
For sure.
excited, and I can't wait to see like what the damage that lineup is going to do and it just gets you excited for getting on campus, and then the season can't start soon enough.
For sure, man. I mean, and dude, you hit plus 300 this season. I mean, you're adding that on top of bringing in Tommy, on top of Dylan Cruz, on top of Trey Morgan, on some of the young guys like Josh Pearson. I mean, I have to agree with you, man. It's going to be a stacked lineup.
So go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's super exciting, and I think it's kind of one of those things that's gonna be pick your poison, because there's no one, someone's gonna come out and beat you every day, and you can't try and let all 9 guys not beat you. So it'll be interesting to see how people attack us, and then I'm just excited for kind of the show that's gonna happen at the box.
Yeah. So, Jack, obviously, I mean, portal aside, the current LSU roster has some elite talent. I mean, guys like Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz, I mean, is a type of guy who could potentially be the number 1 pick in the draft, and Trey Morgan as well at first base. I don't know if you've watched Trey Morgan play first base much at all, but there is no question in anybody's mind that Trey saves a lot of errors. I mean, he saves so many errors throughout a season. I mean, it's just absolutely unreal. He has to be one of the most athletic first basemen I've ever seen. And this being a baseball player, a lot of times your first baseman's just your big thumper, and you put him over there to catch balls coming in. So it's a different type of first baseman, having an athletic first baseman like that. What does it do for an infielder like you, a shortstop, confidence-wise, having a guy like Trey Morgan over at first base?
Yeah, I was really fortunate to play with another really good first baseman at Baylor, in Chase Wesner, but it takes a lot of pressure off, like you said, about you almost just have to worry about fielding it, and then the throw takes care of itself, because that if you just get it anywhere close, the guy's going to be out, and it's a huge kind of like sigh of relief every time you go over there, and hopefully I don't have to make him work too hard, but I know he's got me if something doesn't go as planned.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, countless times. I mean, we've seen him stretch out and pick balls. I don't think anybody other than Trey Morgan could pick. But Jack, so, oh man, the question just slipped me. I had another question for him. It just slipped my mind. But any more? I think Al has one.
Yeah,
in
Al
here.
Landry said, "Ask Jake."
Jake.
Jack. Yes, Jack. Al. It's Jack. let Jack know he will get some Landry jambalaya next season. So there you
Oh
go.
my-
I mean, the fans
I'm
are
looking forward to that.
Louisiana, man. Have you had jambalaya yet?
Had some Louisiana cuisine.
Yeah.
I have not. I've had some Cajun food, but I haven't had Cajun food in Louisiana. So I heard it's different when you get there.
It's definitely different. It's definitely different, and it's something you should definitely be looking forward to. It's going to be awesome. I do remember my question now, Jack. There's it seems to be, obviously we have Jordan Thompson on our roster.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Thompson, he had a tough year, but I mean the year before he was an elite defensive player, and this year he was very clutch at times, and I think personally he still has that elite defense within him. I think he battled an injury supposedly that people didn't know about, and there's also rumors, Jack, that a guy like Josh Day may be coming in, that there's some connections made there. So potentially some competition at the shortstop, position with you coming in, Jordan already being there, potentially some other guys. What does that do for a program to have competition at kind of the captain of the infield, right? The captain of the whole field, correct? What does that do for a team? And I mean, what does that mean for you coming in to a position where you're going to have to fight for that spot?
I think the biggest thing it does for a team is it just makes people better. I mean, you're just going to push each other each and every day. And then with that being said, it shows you that you've got to show up to work each and every day. And you do that enough times in the fall that the spring just hits, and you've been doing it for an entire semester, and you go out there and now you're playing 4 games a week, but you're just showing up every day and giving it your all. And that's something that I really look forward to. And, I went to I'm going to LSU to play and go to Omaha, but at the same time too, I'm going to get better. And that's how you get better, is you surround yourself with guys who are as talented and work just as hard as you. And then hopefully we just lift each other up, and it just becomes fun to watch, and we have the best infield in the country.
I mean, competition breeds champions, right? And
Absolutely.
you expect that out of your players.
Yep. I think we have 2 comments here we want to throw up for you. Zach, go ahead.
All right, so Justin Broussard says, ask Jack to talk about the slide into home where he levitated.
Yeah, that was really cool. It was something that kind of in the moment it just happened, and then I got my phone after the game that day, and it was kind of blowing up, and it was something that was really cool. And then looking back on it, I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, I actually did that, and I couldn't tell you how I did it. So
it's like kind of like I guess I'm more athletic than I thought I was.
Exactly, right?
That's awesome, man. All right, Cody's got a question for you. He said, ask Jack, what kind of drip will you be bringing to the team to help make them better?
Well, I hope I just bring a kind of a certain level of confidence that just helps us in kind of that swag and that borderline like cockiness, confidence right there. And then,
For sure.
we'll see what happens. The drip. I got some things up my sleeve, and hopefully I can get a little bit creative with the
they had the
cleats.
boom box.
I saw that, yeah.
Past season?
I saw that. So we'll
Crunk
see. I mean, we've got some time to think about it, and there's a lot of guys on the team with some drip, so I'm sure we can come up with something pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jack, they're wanting to know your Twitter handle. If you would let them know your Twitter handle, and also I guess your Instagram as well, or anything else you wanted to, so they can go follow you and hit you up on there.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at one Jack Pineda. So the number 1 and then my name, Jack Pineda.
Good deal. I'm not gonna lie, Jack. This past season, I wasn't a great friend of yours. I wasn't a great friend of yours watching that game. But now you're a Tiger, and obviously we're really looking forward to see you in a Tiger uniform. We're pumped about it. We really appreciate you joining in, man, answering all of our questions. We'll definitely have to do this again, maybe closer to the season. Maybe during next season as we the hype continues to build around
what Jay Johnson is doing. So one quick last question for you to wrap it up. Obviously, baseball is your thing, right? So what is one thing outside of baseball that which you would say is your hobby or you like to do outside of baseball?
I love to play golf. So,
Love to play golf.
you know, yeah, go out there on the links a couple times a week during the summer. In the season, we kind of throw them away. But yeah, golf has kind of been my thing, and I definitely need to get better.
Hey, look, I'm sure you're better than me, Jack, because all I do is dig holes whenever I try to go out there and play. That's why I stick to disc golf. You know, I can keep it in the air, not have to worry about nothing. But Jack, I got one last question for you, and then we'll let you go, man. So obviously, right now, Ole Miss and Oklahoma, they're playing in the College World Series Finals. Last we checked, Ole Miss was winning 4-0. What's up? Still 4-0. Still 4-0. Do you got Ole Miss winning it all, or do you think Oklahoma's going to take it? I know they're down right now, but what's your opinion on that?
I don't know if people believe me, but this was my final that I predicted. I mean, I think that they were the two hottest teams coming in, and I don't know. We played Oklahoma this year, you know, being in the Big 12, and it's a completely different team than when we played them. And they got us in a series, but the way that they've just kind of taken off at the second half of the season has been something that's fun to watch. But I think now that I'm a Tiger, I got to go with a little SEC bias.
There you go.
There you go.
Well,
that's right.
They're late. They're having a pretty good game so far. 4-0. Tim Elko's hit two bombs in the game, so pretty impressive so far from him.
Absolutely. Well, Jack, we sure do appreciate you joining in. We'll have to do it again. We appreciate you answering all our questions. Y'all go follow him on his Twitter, his Instagram at @1Jake Pineda. Appreciate you joining in, man. You have a good one.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Wow, Zach. I mean, what a great interview.
LSU is going to be just fine.
We're going to be just fine. Just fine, man. Just fine. This is why I love the Jay Johnson hire. I'm growing to love it even more. I mean, the more and more you hear about him, the more and more you see what he does. I mean, this was a hire that you almost didn't expect, right? I mean, there was a list of guys that you thought. I mean, we thought Kevin O'Sullivan was a done deal. Was a done deal. And so, considering what had been going on with Title IX and investigations and whatnot going on at LSU, had to be a squeaky clean hire. Supposedly something came up. There was some pause, and that fell through. I'm not too upset about that.
No.
I'm not too upset about that. Jay Johnson seems to be he's only in his mid-40s.
He is the youngest SEC coach in the West.
Youngest SEC coach in the West, right? So you have some youthful energy.
He might be second youngest in the SEC. I know Tony Vitello's got him. I'm not sure if there's another coach in the East that's got him beat.
So you have this, energy, this youth in a coach that's energized and is seeking a championship with everything he has, right? Like he's coaching to do that one thing. He has now the resources of LSU, and he's utilizing it. And the more and more that, through this season and now in this offseason, the more you hear about him, the more you learn about him, the more you love this hire.
Yeah.
And, talking to guys like Jack just continues to affirm that even more. So, Zach, you got anything else?
The expectations are high.
It's building.
With everything we've talked about, women's basketball, men's basketball, of course, baseball. And guess what? Football's right around the corner.
BK's first year. That's going to be a blast.
I am
opening up Florida State in the Superdome, baby. All right, guys, we'll hit a quick break, and then we come back. We'll wrap it up right after this.
Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right. Tiger Den Sports says, what a great interview. Awesome show tonight. We appreciate it, guys. And again, thanks to Jack for taking time out of his day to do the interview. We've been trying to get a guy on to discuss some stuff, and so it was great to finally get him on and talk to him. So we really appreciate it. But yeah, great show, great discussion with Jack. We'll be back here again next Friday night.
Possibly another interview.
Yes.
Next Friday night. Maybe two.
Maybe two.
Maybe two interviews next Friday night.
So if you're looking forward to an interview, we might have double for you, right? And one that might surprise you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to that. But if you're just now hopping on, if you want to go back and watch it, you can watch it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. If you're only able to listen, right down. Well, let me come up here, right down there. If you're only able to listen your preferred podcast, you can listen to it there as well. Not too long after, probably tomorrow, right? Is that?
Yep.
You'll be able to listen to it tomorrow. So we appreciate you joining in. Appreciate all y'all's input. Thanks for asking Jack some questions for that interview. We'll catch you next time in the Tigers Avenue. 5-Star Hero takes us out. Peace.
Who that 5-star? Who that 5-star? In the LSU